What did you guys make of Auston Matthews kind of going at Steve Simmons after the game?
I loved it.
I liked it.
Yeah?
Well, I liked it because he still answered the question.
Yes.
But he just let him. He's like, I'm gonna let you know what I thought.
He's gonna check you.
I'm gonna let you know what I thought about what you did, and then he still answered. He answered the question like professionally after, but he's just like, I'm gonna just get this off my chest.
Yeah.
I didn't like what you did, and here's your answer.
I think my view of this would be a lot different. Maybe had the Leafs lost game 2, because I remember after that happened, I was like, man, like, why are you worrying about this right now? Like, maybe score a goal.
Why is Auston?
Yeah. Like, why are you bringing this up right now? Like, you guys just got shut out 2-0.
Yeah.
You weren't especially
Well,
great.
it's the first time he's spoken to him since.
No, I know.
Honestly,
I know
think
that, but
Matthews
just
was,
like,
I think Matthews was our best player in game 1.
He
yeah,
was, yeah. He
Like,
definitely hasn't been the issue.
I meant like
Yeah.
the team in general wasn't as
Yeah, for sure. But to me, I agree with Mike because like Toronto media, if you let them walk all over you, they will walk all over you. Like Phil Kessel is the prime example of that. He would shy away from the media, and then he would get scapegoated because he wasn't there to stand up for himself.
Yeah.
And it's like a wolf pack. Like they just go after you if you let them. So I don't mind Auston Matthews kind of being like, he's checking him a little bit. He wasn't disrespectful. He just said, "Hey man, I'm gonna answer your question, but I really didn't like the way that you reported on my coronavirus diagnosis.
Yeah.
It just wasn't respectful. No, everybody else in the league got that respect, except
no, they didn't. No, they didn't.
Who was the other person that?
There was so many other
else?
like I can't think of anything off the top of my head. But
Exactly.
other sports and other I don't know about necessarily the NHL, but other sports have.
But in the
athletes.
NHL, this is what we're talking about.
But the NHL has made it specifically clear we're not releasing
Yeah,
names.
to be perfectly honest, I don't remember if there were any other NHL
There
names
weren't.
released. I'm sure there were. There was no way Auston Matthews was the only name.
He was.
Because in that whole thing that people were talking about Freddie Anderson too.
That was a
That was a speculation. The only
Because they were
confirmed person that had it was Auston Matthews.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head, but I just like.
And dude, there
and,
was
like,
other like reporters who knew that Auston Matthews had it, and
Right.
they didn't say anything.
which is irresponsible. I think.
I don't think so
I
at
think
all.
that's totally. It's no different than
Not at
like
all.
if you know he's like torn his ACL. It's the same thing. You have like that's your job as a reporter to report that.
I think during a pandemic, it's this is an unprecedented time,
I
and you
don't
have to be careful with the information you have and the information that you put out into the public, because it is somebody's livelihood, it's somebody's life, and nobody's ever died from an ACL injury. People are dying from coronavirus.
You
That's
don't think,
the difference.
You don't think there's ever been a situation where a guy's had a lower body injury and a reporter knows what it is and just calls it a lower body injury because the team doesn't want it to get
Well, it
out?
depends. I think if he's been told it like off the record, then yeah. But that's part of it. But if he
Well, I don't know
finds
how-
out legitimately what
I
it
don't know
is,
how did we have to
Yeah.
know how he found out? I don't know how he found out.
that's true. Well, actually, yeah, that's another thing. Why are you worried about Steve Simmons finding this out? Why aren't you worried about the person who's leaking it? Like, get your house in order first
Yeah,
before you
well,
lose
there's
it
a-
on a
I'm
media member.
sure behind the scenes he was worried about that
Yeah,
as well.
then figure
but
that out
but
first.
but maybe he has. Like we don't know that side of the story. We are right now. What we're seeing is him and Steve Simmons, who during this pandemic they haven't been able to talk face to face.
Yeah.
I'm sure this could have happened
yeah.
behind the scenes, but right now there's a special circumstance. And again, I want to reiterate, it is different than withholding an ACL injury. Nobody's ever died from an ACL injury, ever.
It's also it's regardless of what who was in the right leaking it. I don't mind Auston Matthews has a problem with the reporter. I don't mind the way that he handled that.
No, I
the
agree.
Phil Kessel thing was they would ask him questions about his performance in the game, and he'd just get salty about it.
He was childish. He'd be like, I don't want to talk
Yeah.
to you. What a fucking idiot here. Whatever he
Yeah,
said,
he
that
just-
one
This
time.
guy's such an idiot.
He
here.
would get it's like his insecurity would come to the forefront.
And
Yeah.
Austin, he did it very professionally.
He did, yeah.
All he said was,
I didn't like what you did,
it was unethical.
and then he
I
answered the
found
question.
it I have no issue with it
Yeah.
at all. And I don't think my opinion would have changed whether we won or lost game 2.
And just to go back to what we were talking about before, March 18th, they confirmed a Senators player tested positive, and then it later came out that it was Zaitsev. That was before.
And it was confirmed that it was
No,
Zaitsev.
well, neither was this. This wasn't confirmed either. Just it was reported that it was Nikita Zaitsev.
Maybe Zaitsev said you can tell.
Maybe,
people.
but
I don't
that
know.
came
I don't
out.
know.
Yeah. So Auston Matthews was not
But
the only.
I'm not okay with that either.
But it came out, and I don't know why it was.
You know
any
what?
different for him.
Part of it might be because it's Steve Simmons and he
Yes.
has a history
Yep.
being riding the gray area
Yes.
of reporting.
For
He
sure.
does. He has a history with that, so it might have been a little triggering for a lot of fans and maybe even a lot
Yes.
of players because they know who this guy is. So there are extenuating circumstances to this instance that I think definitely play into it. But at the end of the day, I'm going to hold strong. I agree that it was unethical, and maybe he should have talked to Auston before he released it. He's like, I just got this information. Is it true? Are you okay with me releasing it?
That's not how journalism works.
It's not how journalism
works.
Not how
it should work.
But pandemics are special cases. I think I agree with that. I think pandemics are a special case.
Just to lighten things up a little bit here,
It's like when Brian Boyle got cancer, I'm sure they asked, like, are you okay with us telling people?
Yeah, well, that's a different thing though. They have to make that announcement. Like,
well, what do you mean?
Look, because if he's away from the team, that's going to come out, so they're going to announce it on their own terms.
Why would this be any different?
Because this is something that's going to make you miss like long periods of time. The cancer is. Same thing with like Lindblom. You're going to be out.
Coronavirus could have potentially let, but he didn't get that.
I think
sick.
it's the same thing. Like, cancer is more serious, but I think it's the same kind of thing.
I disagree. I just like.
Sure, we don't have to agree on everything. That's why we have a roundtable discussion about it. But let us know in the comments. I know I say this every episode, but let us know in the comments what you think. Do you think it was unethical what Steve Simmons did?
Bye.